Court proceedings continue in the arraignment of Yahaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State. Procurement experts advocate adoption of technology to ensure efficient implementation of Nigeria First procurement policy. A Nigeria police force crushes transnational kidnapping ring, rescues 25 Ivorian nationals. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on NTN News 24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. I am Chinenye Moe. The wave of defection into the All Progressives Congress, APC, continues to sprawl across the country as the 3 senators from Kebbi State have declared their intention to join the ruling National Party. The senators made the declaration to President Bola Tinubu when he received political stakeholders from Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara states at the State House. The governors of Kebbi, Nasiri Idris, and his counterpart from Sokoto, Ahmed Aliyu, as well as some former governors, were part of the meeting. After the meeting behind closed doors, National Chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, revealed that the senators have received the blessing of the president.
And it is in consonance with what is happening in Nigeria today. Almost every week in the Senate, House of Representatives, you see members of other political parties decamping into our party. So we came here so that Mr. President will bless this resolution. And Mr. President has graciously blessed this resolution, and by Tuesday I will urge you to go and see what will happen in the chambers.
And leaders have also warned against a one-party state. Are you disturbed? Is that what you're looking at? Is that your agenda?
One-party state, you see, if one-party state is a wish and blessing to Nigeria, one-party state is not by force. One-party state is by negotiation. Is by other political parties seeing the effect of the positive governance of our party. If they decide to come into our party willingly, I think there's nothing like that. There's nothing with that. Today, democratic China is one of the most strong countries in the world, and it's a one-party system. We are not saying that we are working for one-party system, but if that is the wish of Nigerians, we cannot quarrel with that. You know, they say too many cooks spoil the soup. Too many political parties spoil governance.
The chairman believes his party has the provision and experience enough to manage the additional population of the party. Proceedings continue in the arraignment of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello in court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, as a prior court judgment on allegations of fraud leveled against the defendant became the issue of contention. Olabode Arewa reports that Yahaya Bello was also accused of using state funds to pay for his children's school fees.
The major issue that dominated arguments before Justice Emeka Nwite was whether the EFCC, as a prosecutor, should be allowed to re-examine their prosecution witness on the statements he made absolving former Governor Yahaya Bello from being complicit in the mismanagement of Kogi State funds. A prior judgment delivered by the High Court of the FCT had cleared Yahaya Bello from involvement in using his cousin Ali Bello as a front to siphon Kogi State funds, and the said judgment admitted in exhibit by Justice Nwite's court. Efforts by the FCC to have the Nicholas Ojeomo re-examined was objected to by Yahaya Bello's defense team, who argued that to do so would require the FCC to declare their own witness as a hostile witness. Justice Emeka Nwite adjourned ruling on the EFCC's prayers to June 27th. Yahaya Bello had consistently pleaded not guilty to allegations of pilfering the funds belonging to Kogi State government, but the EFCC held that he had a case of fraud and stealing to answer. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Federal government says it is untrue. A report from a section of the media alleging that it has commenced an extradition process against Simon Ekpa. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, in a statement in Abuja, says the report is a misconception of the clarification that the Chief Law Officer of the nation made on the matter. Ekpa, a leader of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, is currently standing trial in Finland for the charge filed against him by the Finnish government. To set the record straight, what the AGF said during the question and answer session was that the Nigerian government had been engaging with Finnish authorities to ensure that Simon Ekpa is held accountable for his actions. He explained that since the crimes committed by Simon Ekpa were cross-border in nature, the Nigerian government eagerly awaits the outcome of the proposed trial in Finland to have an informed decision on the next step to take. The National Assembly is embracing technology to enhance operations and enable lawmakers participate in sessions and vote on resolutions without being physically present. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has details on the strategies being adopted to achieve this.
The idea of e-parliaments aligns with the current judicial practice in Nigeria as provided in the Evidence Act, which allows the admission of computer-generated evidence in courts. This retreat for top management of the National Assembly is laying out plans and designing ways to effectively delegate and discharge responsibilities using digital platforms in the legislature.
The National Assembly of Nigeria is a major player in the international legislative space. So we can't afford to be left behind in terms of the trending development.
We are trying to see how we can bring in a full platform of digital system, the IT deployment, and the IT deployment should help us to work towards achieving that set dream of the e-parliament that have been set aside because of certain legal impediment in the Evidence Act.
Especially with the increase in so many structures, like the House of Representatives has increased its number of committees from 109 to 147. And there are so many issues, so many things that have been introduced in the system which require qualified hands to handle.
The policy, when implemented, would create better understanding within the public space on the workings of the legislature, as proceedings, documents and records can be accessed online.
Transformation of our research methodologies, digitalization of our system, especially the archiving system, these are all the things we need digital transformation to achieve. And this retreat, one of the key factors we are discussing at this retreat is digitalizing the National Assembly management system.
To preserve institutional memory, and we are going to look at things like staff discipline, and we do look a little bit into staff welfare also, because we are going to look at stress management.
The management would be able to develop a strategy, work plan and vision that would help to keep in place the very important role that the National Assembly plays in supporting and sustaining our democracy.
The retreat has as its theme building an accountable, transparent and resilient parliament. Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has reiterated commitment to creating a constitutional role for traditional rulers in order to empower them as facilitators of peace and unity in the country. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, stated this while presenting vehicles to 4 monarchs as part of his empowerment program. He described the 10th House of Representatives as a dependable ally of the traditional system that would continue to lead in the recognition and empowerment of traditional rulers.
Gift to help you, particularly in ensuring peace and stability in your communities. And I want to assure you as well that this is just the beginning of the support will be given to traditional institutions. Same provision has been made in the 2025 budget, which also will be distributed through all the 6 geopolitical zones.
The Esunube Emir of Ningi, Esukaru, and Kujibubali said the speaker's gesture would enhance their ability to complement and support government at the grassroots.
And we will contribute for the peace, stability, security, and development of our communities, our states, and our nation.
Guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria, believe strategic focus on enforcement, monitoring and capacity building is required for the robust implementation of Nigeria First procurement policy. Their key recommendations include adopting e-procurement technology system to enhance transparency and allow real-time tracking of procurement activities, reducing corruption risk, providing cheaper capital, and sustainable electricity generation. Lydia Sampson reports.
The Nigeria First policy mandates that all federal procurements prioritize Nigerian-made goods and services, barring imports unless formally waived by the Bureau of Public Procurement. The guests acknowledged that this policy needs the buy-in of state governments, MDAs, public and private sectors, and citizens alike. They suggest independent audits and regular procurement reviews be institutionalized to detect non-compliance and irregularities early and serious enforcement of compliance.
Public procurement can be a very important tool to drive local production. It can be a very important tool to draw investment into the country. It is a very important tool to establish standards of goods, works and products that we receive into the country. And so I think this is a good opportunity.
In the Renew Hope agenda and with the appointment of the several professional guys at the BPP, it cannot be a better time than now. And I believe that government have to live by their own words. They have to set standards and show example.
Sanctions for violations, the guests insist, must be clearly defined and strictly applied to deter misconduct.
The time for talks is over. All these talks, this should not happen. We have come down to Nigeria First. The talks of before now should be over. Let's now go into action. People who are not doing it right, they shouldn't be allowed to continue doing it wrong.
They seek more capacity building for procurement officers to ensure effectiveness and also insist MDAs should be held accountable. The guests also noted that public participation and civil society engagement can provide additional oversight and pressure for compliance. Collaboration with international procurement bodies and adoption of best practices from successful countries, guests on Good Morning Nigeria believe will help Nigeria tailor effective monitoring mechanism. With deliberate measures, they noted, the Nigeria First policy can stimulate local industries, reduce import dependence, and drive sustainable economic growth. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. We'll take a break here. There will be more reports when we return. Do stay.
I therefore call on my colleagues, or media professionals and editors, to be discerning in their reportage. We must deny these groups the undue publicity they crave. We must take them off the front pages and accurately report them as the criminals that they are, without glorifying their acts or giving credence to their false narratives. This These, of course, are not freedom fighters. They are murderers, kidnappers, and destroyers, and they must be presented as such.
This is NTA News 24.
Many thanks for staying on. Pope Leo XIV has promised to bring light to dark and suffering areas in the world. This was during his historic first Mass celebrated in the Sistine Chapel a day after his election. Ekene Ndulue reports.
Pope Leo XIV has celebrated his first Mass in the Sistine Chapel, where he was elected less than 24 hours earlier, and prayed that his historic papacy can help the Catholic Church be a beacon illuminating the dark nights of this world. Leo XIV, the former Cardinal Robert Prevost, and the first U.S. Pope, looked serene as he said the Mass in the famous frescoed chapel with the same cardinals who chose him to be the 267th pontiff and the successor to Pope Francis. Dressed in relatively simple white and gold vestments, Leo XIV, who was born in Chicago but spent 2 decades as a missionary in Peru, said a few words in English before continuing his homily in fluent Italian. He painted the spiritual picture of the church he would like to see under his papacy. The Pope said he was elected new head of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics, so the church can be a beacon to reach areas suffering a lack of faith. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Nigeria has reaffirmed its recognition of the People's Republic of China as the sole legitimate government representing the entire Chinese territory. This reaffirmation came at a forum organized by the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Abuja, where participants urged media professionals and the public to recognize Taiwan as an inseparable part of China. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
Sometimes you read in the media, Nigeria has broken diplomatic cooperation with Taiwan. It never existed.
At the heart of Beijing's foreign policy is a clear position. There is only one China. Reinforcing this stance in Nigeria, Chinese political chief Zhu Songbo, along with scholars in diplomacy and global affairs, stressed that Taiwan remains an undivided part of Chinese territorial integrity. They encouraged Nigerian institutions, including media, to align with this position in the interest of peaceful diplomacy and mutual respect between nations.
On February the 10th, 1971, the People's Republic of China and the Federal Republic of Nigeria established diplomatic relations and issued a joint communique between the two countries stating that the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government representing the whole of the Chinese people.
Nigeria has continued to uphold the One China principle because it respects the territorial integrity of the People's Republic of China.
Speakers at the forum also emphasized the thriving economic partnership between Nigeria and China. They pointed to infrastructure projects, trade agreements, and investment opportunities.
We have to project Nigeria's foreign policy. We have to project our One China principle.
A joint statement released after the forum reaffirmed commitment to the One China policy as endorsed by the United Nations and called on African nations to maintain united diplomatic fronts.
Many countries, including Nigeria, including the almighty United States, adhere to the One China policy.
The China Chamber of Commerce concluded that upholding this policy not only promotes global stability but also solidifies the bonds of China-African relations. In Abuja, Suleiman Tabu Abdul Wahab, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police Force has recorded yet another breakthrough in the battle against transnational crime, rescuing 25 Ivorian nationals and arresting 8 suspects in a coordinated operation across Ogun State. Among those rescued is Lajia Yopere, a key victim whose case was brought to the NPF's attention by the National Central Bureau in Abidjan. A statement by the force indicates that, acting on a formal request from NCB Abidjan, the Commissioner of Police Interpol Annex Lagos, CP Bode Olajunji, swiftly deployed a crack team of investigators who stormed two hideouts in Ado Ota. The coordinated raids led to the rescue of all victims and the arrest of the suspects believed to have lured and kidnapped the victims under false pretenses, promising travel to Europe and later demanding ransom. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has hailed the operation as a testament to the NPF's resolve to root out international crime syndicates. He assured that Nigeria will remain hostile terrain for criminals targeting innocent individuals, whether citizens or foreign nationals, as investigations continue to ensure justice is served. Young stakeholders from across the 19 northern states of Nigeria are advocating collective efforts to tackle numerous challenges facing the region. This was during an interactive meeting organized by the Arewa 100 Focus. The meeting saw stakeholders exchange ideas on how to achieve stability in the region. This is coming ahead of the Arewa conference slated for July 5th in Kaduna. The group is seeking to rub minds with older stakeholders from the region on the way forward.
The leaders that has done all this sacrifice in the name of Arewa and the nation as large, some of them are getting all their of age now. So basically, they really need the young people to come and stay by their side and complement what they are doing. So that's what brings about our thinking. There is higher time that we should talk to ourselves. So we didn't need anybody to talk to us.
The North has to play a significant role to be able to stabilize the country and stabilize the whole sub-region. And that is why any sensible person, whether inside the North or outside the North, should be able to push and promote a gathering like this to make sure that we have a stable North, a prosperous North, and also a North that will be able to be a responsible member of the nation.
This is the news desk at 6 on NTN News 24. Let's take another look at our major stories. Court proceedings have continued in the arraignment of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. Procurement experts have advocated adoption of technology to ensure efficient implementation of Nigeria First procurement policy. And Nigeria Police Force has crushed a transnational kidnapping ring and rescued 25 Ivorian nationals. Welcome back. Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, has outlined 4 strategic pillars that will ensure inclusive, equitable and high-quality education for every Nigerian child. Kelvin Samuel reports that this was made known by the Executive Secretary, Aisha Garuba, at the start of the 2-day UBEC management retreat held in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State.
The 2-day management retreat organized by Universal Basic Education Commission is to keep participants updated on strategies adopted by the Commission to ensure enhanced quality of education across board. Executive Secretary UBEC Aisha Gaba notes that though the Commission has recorded significant growth, a lot is required through collaborations of all stakeholders in the sector.
To ensure that UBEC is repositioned to make a significant contribution in this particular agenda by achieving universal basic education for all children in Nigeria, regardless of their background or geographic location.
The Commissioner for Education, Akwa Ibom State, Professor Bongomo, while commending UBEC for their determination in enhancing basic education in the country, notes that the state government is ready to synergize with the Commission for the benefit of the Akwa Ibom child.
surprising that most of the policies of UBEC, policies of the federal government has to do with education at the basic level, at the primary level, aligns almost seamlessly and perfectly with the vision of His Excellency Pastor Mwabasino, and it will be quite very easy for UBEC and the federal government to interface with the state government and roll out a whole lot of plans that would help to lift millions of Nigerians and those in Akwa Ibom State out of ignorance.
The two-day retreat, which featured paper presentations, had as its theme repositioning UBEC for sustainable basic education delivery in Nigeria. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Many thanks for watching. I am Chinenye Oye.